Good evening, everybody. We're starting whether you're ready or not, so here we go. My name's David.
And I'm Brian. And it is our pleasure to be your masters of ceremony for the 2014 Bay County Chamber of Commerce Annual Dinner and Awards Celebration.
Now that most of you have made your way to your table, please stand for the invocation presented by Don Pitts from the Bay County Chamber. And please remain standing for the presentation of colors by the Joint Forces Honor Guard.
The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Owen Smith, and the National Anthem will be presented by Glenn Belzer.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, we thank you, Father, always for so many blessings you've given to each one of us. And we thank you for the opportunity to come together tonight and to share in the events of last year to God and celebrate. And we pray, Father, that you be with us here tonight as we just take a stock about what's going on in the past and what's going to happen in the future for us. We thank you for that. Father, we want to remember also our great men and women that fight in our military that preserve peace around this world. And we just thank you for each one. Pray your blessings on them. Watch over them and protect them each day. We pray all these things in your sweet, precious name. Amen.
Colors. Present colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This microphone sounds weird to me. There are times it sounds like it's loud and other times it doesn't. Where's your mic?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave, the brave.
Once they're out of sight, you can go. Color, color turn. Does Pitt still have your mic? No. Okay.
You may be seated.
Wasn't that just adorable?
And let's hear it for Glenn Belzer, ladies and gentlemen.
That's who I was referring to.
Once again, it's our pleasure to welcome you to the 2014 Bay County Chamber of Commerce Annual Dinner and Award Celebration. But before we begin, we need to recognize some special guests and sponsors.
It is an honor to have with us tonight from the United States House of Representatives, Congressman Steve Sutherland. Steve, please stand and be recognized. I know Representative Sutherland is not the only public servant with us this evening, so will all other elected officials please stand and be recognized.
At this time, will all active duty military and veterans please stand and be recognized?
Let's hear it for our veterans and our active duty military. Thank you so much for your service. We would also like to recognize the sponsors who have helped to make this evening's celebration possible.
Our platinum sponsors include my favorite, Innovations Federal Credit Union,
Edgewater Beach and Golf Resort,
and Clever Media Works.
Our gold sponsors are Barron and Redding, PA,
Caldwell Banker, Carroll Realty,
Health South Emerald Coast Rehabilitation Hospital,
Gulf Coast State College,
the News Herald,
Merrill Lynch,
Rock 10.
and Waste Pro.
Let's give a big round of applause to all of this evening's sponsors.
You know, Brian, you and I have had a great time this past year celebrating the 100-year history of the Chamber.
It has truly been a pleasure being a part of First Fridays in 2013, David, celebrating a different decade of the past century each month.
You know, it sure was, Brian, but you know what? What was missing from our celebrations of the past decades?
What's that, David?
We didn't really do anything to talk about the events of 2013.
You are absolutely correct, David, as usual.
I tell you that President Obama had his fair share of problems in 2013, Brian.
You aren't kidding, David. Benghazi, NSA, the IRS, and the Affordable Care Act rollout.
What a mess he had on his hands with that website, Brian. I think most people would agree it would have been much easier just to let NSA handle the whole thing. I mean, they've got our personal information. They know even what plan's best for us already.
It's funny, David, or sad, depending on how you look at it. Our government can collect data from millions of people, including the heads of state of foreign countries, but cannot design a website for a mandatory health care program. I don't think I'm going to sign up, David. I just don't have a whole lot of faith here. Besides, I like my current coverage. What's this?
What's that, Brian?
Okay, so maybe I will sign up, David.
I guess so, Brian. Hey, how about former New York Congressman Anthony Weiner? Weiner, yeah, attempting a comeback in 2013, Brian.
Attempted being the operative word, Dave.
That guy, to be frank, I think the guy's a hot dog.
Hot dog.
Yeah, his only endorsement came from Oscar Mayer.
Because he's a wiener.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Texas Senator Ted Cruz, he didn't do too much better attempting to rally fellow Tea Partiers by reading Green Eggs and Ham on the Senate floor, David.
How'd that work out for him, Brian?
Well, David, I think it would have gone a lot better had he been reading something they could understand.
Yeah, probably so. Hey, how about Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, Brian? You know, he admitted to using crack during one of his drunken stupors. That'd be stupors, plural, the mayor. You know what? He subsequently saw his approval rating shoot up 5 points. Shoot up, get it?
Shoot up, I get
Shoot
it.
up.
Rob Ford, shoot up. I get
know.
it. I get it.
Okay.
Well, hey, you know, world-class secret leaker Edward Snowden, in an attempt, get this, in an attempt to escape government persecution,
Yeah.
ran to China and then to Russia, David, to escape government persecution.
Yeah.
China and Russia.
Yeah,
Isn't that kind of like joining the army because you're tired of people telling you what to do?
I think it must be, Brian. And speaking of international diplomacy, what about Dennis Rodman taking it upon himself to be an ambassador of sorts, going over there to North Korea, talking to Kim Jong-un? I mean, Dennis Rodman being an ambassador. What's next? Mike Tyson for poet laureate? Kim Kardashian for molecular chemistry consultant? Or maybe even Tim Tebow for NFL quarterback?
Tim Tebow is an NFL quarterback. That's a little far-fetched, David.
Isn't it?
But you know, in pop culture this year, the Oxford Dictionary folks admitted a couple new words in 2013. Like selfie, David. I think selfie is a great addition to the dictionary because it's a whole lot easier to say than...
Brian, don't get carried away. Selfie means to take a picture of yourself.
Oh, selfie. Yeah, I get it. Selfie. Then maybe you should explain what this other word means, David. Twerking?
Twerking. Well,
Twerking?
it's kind of difficult to explain, Brian. How do you say we show everybody?
What do you think so?
Nah. Maybe later. Let's have a couple drinks.
Maybe later. Firefly?
Hey, Duck Dynasty. You know, Duck Dynasty, madness in 2013. That made the Robertson family happy.
Well, as I understand, David, a member of the Duck Dynasty family was mistaken for a homeless man and kicked out of his New York City hotel this summer.
Yeah?
David, that's clearly a case of facial profiling.
Indeed it was. And perhaps, Brian, now it's time for a moment of silence. A moment of silence for our feline-loving friends at Bay Point. What a catastrophe, Brian.
Well, David, I categorically deny knowing anything about it.
It's okay, Brian, no worries. I think the authorities suspect a golfer with a wicked slice.
Also in 2013, David, 2 escaped prison inmates fled directly to Bay County and the world's most beautiful beaches.
Clearly enticed by the overly effective marketing campaigns of our TDC.
And finally, a Pineapple Willie's employee was arrested for installing a camera in the ladies' restroom.
Now, Brian, surely he was just trying to enforce the all employees must wash hands policy.
Well, David, that was 2013, and that is old news. And speaking of old news, David, it's time to introduce the first speaker of the evening.
I think it's that time, Brian. I think these folks are tired of hearing our corny jokes. How about you say we introduce our first speaker? This is a guy who gives the most interesting man in the world a run for his money. Help us welcome 2013 Chairman of the Board of Directors, Mr. Bill Fenimore.
Good evening and welcome. Actually, I can't see anybody because these lights are like, so if I look at you, it may not be that I'm talking to you. I want to welcome you all and thank you for coming out in this chamber weather. We have had an incredible year. I want to touch on a few of the highlights. In 2013, membership finally stabilized. The CEO receptions that we initiated were extremely successful. BayBiz Magazine surpassed everybody's expectation in income and content. Governmental Affairs has been as busy as any committee we have. To name a few examples, the elimination of the sales tax on manufacturing equipment, Funding was secured for the flyover on 23rd Street and the completion of 79 four-laning to I-10. We partnered with Neil Wade and his staff at the Economic Development Alliance to help identify the opportunities and the challenges that face our community, business community. We hosted roundtables that included Congressman Sutherland, Senators Nelson and Rubio, Governor Scott, and Representatives Petronas and Coley, and many other agency officials this year. On the fun side of things, we had a tremendous centennial year that, as you all know, went on and on and on. We also introduced Color Vibe to the county, even if some of us in the chamber had no idea what Color Vibe was. It was tremendously successful. We had thousands of participants. Thank you all for all you have done for the Bay County Chamber of Commerce. And now it's kind of my pleasure to introduce some people and to give some awards. And the first person happens to be a very, very good friend of mine. Please, everybody, welcome my good friend and outgoing chairman of the Military Affairs Committee, Al McCambry. Al, what a great job you've done, buddy. We're going to give Al the Eagles Award, and I'd love to tell you what the award means, but no one at the chamber knows. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
You're out, brother.
All right.
You want to speak a little bit?
Please.
I thought you might.
Good evening. You know, I consider the MAC to be the liaison for the community to the military, a responsibility I do not take lightly or for granted. I'd like to say welcome to Lieutenant General Eder, Commander, 1st Air Force North, and his wife, Sherry, Colonel Graff of 325th Fighter Wing Commander, his wife, Jamie, who is recovering. I'd like the Commander, Chris Serow of the Naval Support Activity, and his wife, Lisa. Captain Phil Dawson, Commanding Officer, NSWC, and his wife, Belinda. And to my lovely wife, Debbie McCamery, for allowing me to be shared with you through this last few years. The MAC has afforded me many opportunities over this last year, and I'm just going to highlight a couple of them. I was able to join 18 community members on a BDA trip to New Mexico to welcome military members and their families to Bay County, of which 1,100 people are going to come right here to live, work, and play in an area that we are privileged to call home. I witnessed the activation of Tyndall's 95th Fighter Squadron. I watched the first 5 operational F-22s land at Tyndall Air Force Base on January the 6th. I was able to celebrate a big win with the Navy. The NSA received the Commander-in-Chief Award for Installation Excellence for a base its size. I will never, ever forget the opportunity that I had to actually spend the night on the USS Harry S. Truman, a nuclear ship. And what kind of pride that I had when I saw sailors at the ages of 18, 19, and 20 operating and managing millions of dollars worth of equipment. And I have to say, and my friend Bill and I chuckled because I have a 21-year-old, a 23-year-old, and a 26-year-old, and some of the people at the MAC heard me say, I get nervous when they drive a 2004 Maxima and a Hyundai and a Kia, and I got 18, 19, and 21-year-olds actually maneuvering around millions of dollars worth of equipment. It really made me feel proud to see the excellence that they have in their work. Also welcomed, and I realized that the Tyndall Air Force Base and NSAPC are inundated, and our military is inundated with quality military leadership. It is both a blessing and a curse because individuals that come to our area, we feel very, very welcome and we embrace them and make them part of our family. Then all of a sudden, because of their leadership, they get taken and get promoted to other areas. But the good thing is new people continue to come in. The one thing that I'm most proud of, and the Navy base probably is not, is that I was able to stay out of the Navy dive facility. You see, I cannot swim, and anything over 5 feet is not good for me. And regardless of how comfortable they said I would be, that it would be safe, I was not getting in that tank. Now, you give me a glass of wine and a very nice ship, I can cruise anywhere you want for as long as I need to. Now, here's some facts, and I want to say these facts very briefly, just because if it's not for the leadership of the military affairs over previous years, my job this year and my friend Bill's job next year would not have been as easy. The economic impact to Bay County due to our military is over $2.5 billion. Yeah, that's correct, $2.5 billion. The direct and indirect employment impact is over thousands of individuals with an average wage of 175% of the state average. 175% of the state average are employed here in our military bases. Over the last 5 BRAC processes, more than 350 bases over the United States were closed. Our bases survived. I want to repeat that. Over the last 5 BRAC installations, over 355 bases closed. Our bases were survived, and that is huge. Now, my good friend Tom Neubauer wanted me to say that the BDA and its very attractive and smart individuals had a lot to do with that. Now, I'll give them the smart piece. I'm not too sure about the attractive piece, but I'll let you be the judge. Now, I say this to remind you that our military is not important just to us locally, but it is also a regional impact that is very tremendous, and the national impact as well, because we so often forget how many times our brave men and women of the military actually give up and sacrifice. And sometimes it is the ultimate sacrifice. And for that, we say thank you, because you make our lives easy. You make us be able to You allow us to take for granted the freedoms and liberties that we experience just because of what you do day in and day out. And for that, I say thank you. Now, at every MAC function, I want to say freedom is not free, something that we too often forget. And thank you for all you do. Military, Godspeed, and God bless. I do have one last comment, and this is where my friend Carol is going to cringe, but this is the last time and I get the mic. At one particular First Friday instance, there was a very, very good friend of mine who's a lawyer, and he expressed some concerns about when I was in limbo from a job opportunity. And while I was in limbo, evidently we had a conversation that I just do not remember. And that conversation, I know, due to the integrity of this individual, his name is Franklin Harrison. Due to the integrity of this individual, he would by no means actually say something on my behalf that would cause jokes and chuckles in the audience, because he is truly a man of integrity. Also, due to the confidentiality between attorney and client, that I know he would not jeopardize that very sacred opportunity that he has to deal. So I must have had that conversation that I just don't remember. So I'm sure the next thing I'm going to tell you is a conversation I'm sure he doesn't remember. He is a diehard Florida fan, for everybody that does not know that. Now, unfortunately for you Florida Gators, you guys have had a horrific year this last year. And my very good friend has expressed to me, and I'm sure he does not remember this, that he is probably going to change who he is aligned with. So, to that point, I have a portrait that somebody at the chamber would not allow me to put on the screens because for some strange reason, they thought it would be inappropriate. Her name is Carol Roberts. But I have a portrait, and it signifies where his new allegiance is going to lie, and I want my friend Bill Fenimore to help me show you today. My friend Franklin Harrison is the new Georgia mascot. And the only thing I got to say, and I'll give it to his partners because somehow he made it obvious that he would not show up today. It looks like once you become a Georgia mascot, Franklin Harrison's waistline decreased tremendously. For that, I love you guys. Thanks for allowing me to be your MAC chairman. Thanks for allowing me to participate on the chairmanship for the chamber over these next few years. I will not go away. I love this community. Anything you need from me, just let me know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Al. By the way, do you think we ought to auction this off?
I think so. There you go.
Yeah, go ahead and get me fired out of my new job. Now, I get to have some more fun. It's my pleasure to introduce the Member of the Year for the Bay County Chamber. This is kind of a lengthy read introduction because this person has done so much for so long, but just listen. A longtime resident of Bay County, attended Mosley High School, graduated from Gulf Coast State College and FSU, has been active with the Chamber since the early 90s, serving on the commissioning team for the USS Momsen, ambassadors, graduate of Leadership Bay, past chairman and steering committee member of Junior Leadership Bay and Leadership Bay, volunteered for numerous golf tournaments, participated in governmental affairs activities, served on the board of directors and the executive committee, just to name a few. Obviously, this individual never sleeps, and they are active in numerous other organizations in the community. United Way, Panama City Beach Chamber, Rotary, Junior Service League, and the list goes on and on and on. Most recently, this person chaired what was probably our most demanding committee for 2013, as we celebrated 100th anniversary from the kickoff at this time last year at our annual dinner to a huge birthday block party, a commemorative Bay Biz issue, and all of those First Fridays that the guys helped with. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the 2013 Member of the Year, Vice President and General Manager of Lamar Advertising, Miss Claire Sherman. Come on down. You can if you want to.
I am speechless, which is the first time in my life. And thank you so much. I have had the best time this year with the Chamber and all the years that I have served with the Chamber. It is something that everybody wants to put in their business portfolio. You've got to do it to make your business succeed. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Told you I liked it. An outstanding lady. Okay, I get to introduce more people. I'll keep this. Please welcome to the stage the 2004 Lauren Merriam Award winner, Dr. Bob McSpadden.
You know, if you're lucky enough to live in a community that includes a lot of people like Lauren Merriam, then all of us are lucky. When asked to talk a little bit tonight about this year's recipient, I was absolutely honored. It occurred to me, though, that Lauren Merriam was president of our chamber in 1959. Okay, so that would be 55 years ago. And unless you were 20 years or so at least, or older, you probably weren't civically involved. So unless you're older than 75, I'm not sure you know who Lauren Merriam was. And I think it's worthwhile to let you know who Lauren Merriam was. He was a very successful businessman. He was in the insurance business. Anything that moved in our community, civic, social, cultural, whatever, the best you could do was to get Lauren Merriam to endorse what it was you were about. He was president in 1959. He was the original chair of First Friday. Now, a number of us in here remember the days you didn't ever want to cross Lauren Merriam because he had the microphone at First Friday, And he didn't take himself very seriously. And if you took yourself too seriously, you never knew what might be coming out at the First Friday meeting in front of hundreds of your friends. See, the First Friday meetings were held in those days in the Johnny and Jimmy's Seven Seas restaurant in what's now a parking lot behind what used to be Sears and Roebuck, and then became Bay Bank and so on. He was well known for his wit, and he was well known for not taking himself too seriously. He was loved by this community. Mostly he was respected by this community. Lauren Merriam died in 1975. He was so well thought of that the Chamber of Commerce initiated the very next year the Lauren Merriam Memorial Award, which has become the most prestigious, coveted award this community offers to anybody. The first award was given in 1976, and the first recipient was Jerry Clemens, one of the most popular people to ever live in our community. I've been asked, Bob, exactly how do you folks choose the recipient of the award? And I will tell you what, of the various panels and activities that you've allowed me to participate in my civic life, this one is maybe the most difficult ever. That's because there are so many incredible people in this community. We've got a beautiful landscape. We got the thing that makes our community a great place to live are the men and women who live here. We like each other. We work together. And we've had a massive group of people just give of themselves, their intellect, their personal resources, and their time to make Bay County the kind of place that we would all like to live. Each year, the previous Merriam recipients have a meeting following a First Friday, normally in December, and we labor over the series of names of people that we know all deserve the award. But in the end, we come up with one, and tonight we will honor for the 37th time only in the history of Bay County the Lauren Merriam Award winner. So who do we have the pleasure of honoring this year? This year we're going to honor someone who has spent a life of service and professional dedication to several communities. Now, he's lived most of his life here in Bay County, but he's lived other places because his business kept promoting him and moving him around. And each time he moved to a new community, everything I'm about to tell you about this person, he did in all those other communities, whether it's president of civic organizations or orchestras or whatever. He was just somebody that every community was better because he once lived there. And certainly Bay County, Florida is much better because he lived here. This person we're honoring tonight was born and spent most of his life in Northwest Florida. He was not born in Bay County. His priorities are church and family and community. And when I look through the list of things he has done to earn this award tonight, the problem was, in the 5 minutes I'm allotted, how do you take 200 or 300 awards and achievements and decide which ones you want to tell your friends about before you announce who this person is? This gentleman was a member of the Rotary Club of Panama City. Now, the highest award the Rotary Club gives to anyone is something called the Paul Harris Fellow Award. It won't surprise you that this person is a Paul Harris Fellow. In Panama City, trying to make the city better, he was a member of the Downtown Improvement Board. Some years ago, this community set an award together called the Jefferson Award, meant to honor someone who is a leader in the community. Well, guess what? This person was a recipient of the Jefferson Award. He received the Brave Award that stands for Battle to Restore Americans' Values Everywhere. He was on the board of directors of the American Cancer Society in several states. He was chairman of the American Red Cross. He was on the United Way board. He was chairman of the Military Affairs Committee of the Bay County Chamber of Commerce, a committee known internationally as arguably the finest MAC committee in the world. Al spoke so eloquently to that. He was chairman of the Bay County Chamber of Commerce. He served on the board of Bay Medical Center, now Bay Medical Sacred Heart. He was once president of the Gulf Coast Community College Foundation Board when it was one of the fastest growing foundations in the nation, as written up by the New York Times. He was on the advisory board for Florida State University. I think you're starting to get the drift. If it mattered in his community and it would make this community better, he put it himself in the middle of it. My personal involvement comes from our being neighbors for a long time. His children and my children kind of grew up together. He was on the board of trustees of Gulf Coast Community College, and that's where I got to know him best. Lawton Childs, I read the file where when you want the governor to appoint you to something, you have to fill out a long list of stuff so that they know that you're going to be a good follower of the governor. As a trustee, he was honest, he was decent, he was straightforward. He actually succeeded somebody just like him. He succeeded Larry Dancer, one of the great men of our community. What I found fascinating was that on his form for a nomination, every reference he listed was a former or current Lauren Merriam Memorial Award recipient. I think it gives you some indication of what kind of person he was. In his church life, he was certainly on the administrative board of his church, St. Andrew United Methodist Church. And of course, he was asked to chair the board. He and his wife have been in the choir forever. He has emceed and sang, soloed, and he and she together in duets for about as many weddings as Cy Matheson performed. And those of us who've been around a while know what that means. He ended his career back in Panama City. He served various media outlets in 4 states. On the personal side, incidentally, United Way Board of Directors, of course. He was born in Vernon, Florida. That's probably where he learned to hunt and fish, something he still loves to do today. His family moved to Panama City, and he graduated from the only high school in Bay County at the time, Bay High School, in 1957. Immediately enlisted in the Navy and was honorably discharged 4 years later. His print media career included the News Herald, the Tallahassee Democrat, the Jackson County Times, and after his work at WJHG, he was promoted and moved to stations in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas before returning to Panama City 11 years later. For 55 years, he has been married to a former Miss Panama City, Carla McKinney Roche. They have three beautiful, talented daughters, Michelle, Robin, and Stephanie, and they have 7 grandchildren. If you talk to the children, they would tell you that he's perhaps the greatest father that ever was. Rarely, if ever, missed a dance recital or a cheerleading performance or whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, our honor read tonight is sort of the substance of what we are, of what Bay County, Florida is. And I cannot begin to describe to you the honor it is for me to ask the 37th recipient of the Lauren M. Nelson Memorial Award to come forward. Would you join me in congratulating Mr. Hugh Roche?
Wow, Bob. Wow. Boy, if anybody can make it sound better than it is, it's Bob McSpadden, isn't that right? All my children are here. Good grief. Just about all of them. Wow. Thank you so very much. I am old enough to remember Lauren Merriam. You know, I was fortunate enough, excuse me, I got to get it together. Y'all excuse me for a minute. Fortunate enough to be in a business. Don't fall off the stage. That's me. I need to fall off the stage. To be able to do things in our community. And what I learned through being involved in whatever it was we were involved in or I was involved in was that you can't outgive. Whatever you give to the community or to charity or to God or whatever else, you can't outgive. You can't outgive God. I've heard that expression many times. But you can't outgive your community either. Whatever little bit I've been able to give to the community has come back to me tenfold. And I am so proud to be in Bay County and to be a part of this Bay County community. I've loved being with the Chamber and all the many things that we were able to do through the Chamber, and to be able to meet and know most of you. There are a lot of young people who I haven't had a chance to meet yet who are really involved in the community now, but I want to thank you for this wonderful honor, and I will cherish it forever. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm back. Everything's okay. You know, we will now continue. She is fine. We had a little slip, as most people noticed. So let me go forward and continue. All of you in this room add to the success of the Bay County Chamber. There are a couple of people and a couple of organizations I do want to thank. The first one I want to specifically mention is my board of directors for 2013. I would like you all to stand if you were on the board for 2013 and at least be recognized, and I want to thank all of you. Thank you so much. I also think that we've got some past chairmen in the room. In fact, I think we have quite a few past chairmen. I would love for you all to stand and be recognized. And now I'm going to do the award thing again. This is kind of rare. It's only been done twice. But I felt it was just a necessity. I would like to present an award that has only been presented twice in the past, and it is my pleasure to give the Chairman's Award to Brian Taylor and David Powell. Would you both please come up here? The commitment they've made to the Chamber in time and focus and everything that they've done deserve these awards. And they're probably out getting drinks. I don't think they heard I'll repeat it. You and your little cohort over here, what's his name? Brian? I'm presenting you both with the President's Award.
Okay.
It's only been done twice, and you all are getting one each.
Wow. We were backstairs drinking and didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, I knew it. David, thank you so much. Brian?
Wow.
You too, big brother.
Go ahead, Taylor.
Well, it wouldn't be an acceptance speech or an award show if I didn't begin by thanking the big man, the man in charge, the man I try to speak to every morning when I wake up and every night before I go to sleep. I do mean David Powell. Thank you, David. Holy cow.
Oh, by the way, your mom.
Is there, yeah, from Virginia.
We didn't mention that.
Holy guacamole. I should have said that the first time. Oh, my goodness gracious. That's fantastic. That is out. Come on up here, Melanie. Tracy, come on up here. Anybody else related to David, too? Well, hey, sorry. Dude, that could get you in trouble. Anyway, thank you all very, very much. Somebody told me this morning that this would just be awesome, and I would just do an awesome, awesome job. And she knows who she is, and she's very responsible for me being here and being able to do this, and this is fantastic. I do want to, before I thank my wife, I think it would be more appropriate to thank my ex-wife first for showing me what a bottom really was and what life could have been, what, you know. So thank you, Melanie, for enduring my patience, being patient with my craziness, my neuroses, my singing in the shower, my everything. Thank you. Wow.
As many of you know, I've had the privilege of winning the Member of the Year for the Chamber a couple of times, and so now it's kind of a running joke with my friends about what kind of an award are you going to win this time. And I said, well, I'm probably not going to. You know, I've won those awards, and Hugh, where did Harry Hugh win? I'm not quite old enough to win Lauren Merriam Award yet. So I never, ever anticipated the Chairman's Award, Brian. That's kind of weird. But Brian and I have had a lot of fun this year, and thanks to all of you that regularly attend First Friday and come out and watch us just be silly and have fun on the first Friday of every month. That's been a lot of fun. sometimes a little frustrating working with Mr. Procrastination here, but other than that, it's been a great experience. And thanks to our family, I think my parents are here somewhere, although I can't see but about 10 feet in the light. So thank y'all for being supportive as well. And it's a great honor to have won the Chairman's Award. So thank you, everybody. Thanks to the Chamber. Just thanks, Bill.
So now, Mom, Dad, I'm really hoping those 2 seats that are empty next to us are for the 2 of you. So, thank you.
Probably planned.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Guys, congratulations. You deserve it. You've done a great job. I'm not doing that. Special thanks to Panama City Beach's Chamber of Commerce, President Lance Allison, past chair Derek Bennett, and their new chair, Darren Heyman. We're kind of developing a new relationship with these people, especially Lance and Carol. I'm not sure what that is, but I wanted to thank them. And this has been a great year for me, and it would not have happened without Carol Roberts and the magnificent Chamber staff. I can't thank them enough. You all have no idea what these people do, but I would love for you all to stand, and please give them a round of applause. And now we're coming to the end. I know you're all very pleased with that. The bar will open again. It's been a magnificent year for me. And the last person I want to thank is the one who's actually persevered the most this year. She's my wife. She's also the love of my life. Marilyn, would you please come up? No, we're not going to give her the mic. Okay, this is coming into an end for me, and I can't thank you all enough. I've had a tremendous year. I've had tremendous support, and now it's my pleasure to introduce your new Chamber Chairman, Larry Carroll.
I have the distinct honor to present Mr. Fenimore with the Chairman plaque. And Bill, you did a great job this year, and it's going to be hard to follow in his footsteps. Thank you so much for all you did.
So much. I thought we were going to have a gavel, but I didn't guess we did. You got it, buddy.
Thank you. I would like to thank you for being here tonight to help us celebrate the last 100 years and to help us celebrate the next 100 years of the Bay County Chamber of Commerce. It's taken me 4 years to get to this point, to become chairman, and for that I'm given 4 minutes as my reward. So I'd start by just telling you a little bit, who is Larry Carroll? You know, you can tell a lot from a person, from what he loves, what he hates, what he likes and what he dislikes. Well, what I love my God and my country, and I love my family. And my family's with me here tonight. My wife, Kim, my oldest son, Keith, and his wife, Lori, my middle son, Scott, my daughter, Katie, my mom and dad, Ken and Mimi Carroll. My dad's a retired Chief Master Sergeant who was at Tyndall, and he came back to live in Panama City and Bay County, and that's why I'm here. And my mother-in-law, Mary Frances Bond, who's married to the late Charlie Bond, who in 1960 came to Panama City and started a little school out there with Dr. Morley to help it grow, called Gulf Coast State College today. Okay, what do I like? I like Clint Eastwood movies. I like my dogs. I like hunting and fishing. I like Willie Nelson, Frank Sinatra, and Elvis Presley. I like ribeye steak, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. I like to sing karaoke. I like to play poker, and I like college football. I like the weather in Bay County until this last month. And what I don't like people who gossip. I do not like rap music. I don't like negative people. I don't like say yes to the dress reality TV. I don't like liver and onions. I don't like texting while sitting at the dinner table. And I do not like Dennis Rodman. I can't think of anything I really hate except I don't like to lose. And those of you that know me know I really hate to lose. Now that you know me a little better, let me tell you in the next few minutes what we plan to do to make Bay County a better place this next year to work, live, and play. We will work with our elected officials on a federal, a state, and local level to take them issues and items that mean a lot to us here in the community so we can get things done and things happen. We'll also continue to work with our military friends through the Military Affairs Committee, which is second to none in these United States, and that's going to be led by our past chairman, Bill Fenimore. Also, the Bay Defense Alliance will continue to work with the military, and the job that Tom Neubauer is doing is incredible. We'll also continue to work and support the Economic Development Alliance and the great work that Neil Wade is doing for Bay County. He is doing a great job, and I hope everybody gives him a hand pat on the shoulders. We're going to work with our educators and our local industry leaders so that we can provide a better workforce for Bay County, not just to bring new industry to Bay County, but to keep the industry that we already have. And lastly, we're going to work with our neighbors across the bridge, the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce, and their leadership, Darren Heyman, their chairman, and Lance Allison, the CEO and president. Because, you know, when it's all said and done, we're all in this together, guys. At this time, I would like the Edgewater staff to prepare for a toast. So if they can start pouring the champagne. And why? I need to get me a glass. And while they do it, I would like to thank Elizabeth Smith and the Edgewater staff for the fabulous job they did in preparing this meal and preparing this evening.
We did miss one small thing. I've got to give him the gavel. There you go.
But I won't start the speech over. Thank you, Bill. All right. We want to make sure everybody has their glass. If you have a glass of champagne, please go ahead and stand so I can tell when everybody has got something. If you could stand once you got your glass, let's stand for this toast. I'm on this mic much longer. I might start doing some karaoke. Yeah, Steve could. He can sing. Okay, everybody ready? So as we close tonight, let us raise our glasses and toast the Bay County Chamber of Commerce for the next 100 years. Hear, hear. Y'all enjoy your dinner. I think Brian and David.
Tonight, upon Masterpiece Theater, a dramatic reading inspired by the musical stylings of New York City's Beastie Boys and the literary musings of Dr. Seuss.
Now, here's a little story we've got to tell about the evening sponsors you may know very well.
Members have agreed to sponsor this
gig,
some of them small and some of them
big. The Chamber's been rocking for a full
century,
and we've been partying through
2013. A dinner was planned that got you all
here,
drinking wine, maybe whiskey, maybe even a
beer. If you drink too much, will you please be a sport and stay right here at Edgewater Beach Resort?
Or perhaps if you must, you can summon a cab and prevent an extended stay at Health South Rehab.
If you want to get rich, allow us to suggest our friends at Merrill Lynch to help you invest.
A big shout out to Pedro, our friend, the fearless leader of the folks at Rock 10.
For trash pickup and waste disposal, a call to Waste Pro is our proposal.
Realtors reviewing contracts with a fine-toothed comb. Coldwell Banker Carroll Realty will help sell your home.
Local state obits, mugshots, and sports. PC News Herald has news of all sorts.
If you want to gain knowledge, a place to get smart, Gulf Coast State College is a great place to start.
If you're in a bad deal and need an attorney today, Do yourself a big favor. Call Barron and Redding, PA.
Clever with a K. I said clever with a K. Clever Media Works is a sponsor today.
Your financial transactions will come off without a hitch. At Innovations Federal Credit Union, we spark change.
Yo. These sponsors we've named have platinum and gold labels.
But let's not forget, Brian, the sponsors of tables.
And also the donors of Silent Auction Things.
There are fabulous staycations, spa weekends, and rings.
1 hour left to bid on the items on display.
And all the purchases you make support Junior Leadership Bay.
Thank you all once again.
A great night it has been.
Because of our chamber,
we have no fear.
2014
will be a great year. Dinner is served.
Peace.